Hey, what's up everybody? We're back again, and you know what? Why not? Why don't we talk about Dave Blunts? I mean, basically every other hip-hop dedicated YouTube channel has already made a video on him at this point, whether they talked about his come-up or the antics that he's gotten into, because this guy is basically becoming an endless content farm in the same way that 6ix9ine was in 2018, with everybody talking about him non-stop and something always going on in his life that people seem to be interested in. But instead of being invested in non-stop beef like 6ix9ine was in 2018, it seems like Dave has found himself a little bit more of a sustainable career path by instead having the joke be that he's really fat. And that's practically his entire persona. He's an overweight rapper who's really addicted to lean. But why is that so fascinating to people? I mean, after all, we've had fat rappers as far back as the 90s with people like Biggie and Big Pun, and even in the modern day we've had overweight celebrities. I mean, Lizzo popped off only a couple years ago, and I know she's not a rapper, but it does go to show that being morbidly obese really isn't as shocking as it was in the early 2020s, and it's become a lot more common. I mean, after all, most Americans are heavily overweight. But I think there's more than his weight. I think there's a combination of factors that really draws people to Dave Blunts, and I think the first and foremost is that he's basically turned himself into a little bit of a lolcow. Now, I really hate to throw that term around because I feel like it's lost a lot of meaning in recent years, with basically anybody online who's slightly disliked by the general public being called that. I mean, people were calling Mudahar a lolcow only a couple months ago, and that's definitely not accurate at all. But the true definition of a lolcow is somebody that you can fuck with over and over and over again and always get a reaction, basically milking them for laughs. But even that definition doesn't really fit. I think the true meaning of a lolcow in the modern age is basically somebody who's destroying their own life on the internet with everybody watching with morbid fascination, and Dave Blunts definitely fits into that category. I mean, after all, the guy's most likely over 400 pounds at this point. It seems like he wears the same clothes every single day, and he's heavily addicted to lean, which of course isn't healthy for somebody who's skinny, so for somebody at his weight, it's definitely not good. And on top of that, many rappers in the past couple years have passed away from drug overdoses, with the entire internet watching it happen, not being able to do anything, so I think some people are genuinely concerned for Dave Blunts' health, which basically separates his audience into two different camps. The people who are fans of people like Nikocado Avocado, who want to see a fat person basically destroy himself and die, and then the people who are actually worried about him and want to see him get better. But even with all that combined, that's not really enough to keep a fan base around for over a year, so what other factors are there that keep people invested in Dave Blunts? Is his music really that good? Well, to me, it's alright. I definitely think it's catchy, but I don't think it's anything all that special. When it comes to the modern underground, basically everybody has the same style, and I think if this type of music was coming out of somebody who didn't look like Dave Blunts, nobody would be paying all that much attention to it. So if it's not about the music, then what is it about? Well, to me, I think it comes down to two more factors. First of all, he's able to make himself the butt of the joke, which is very rare in the rap game, and second of all, he's a marketing genius. Now on the outside, you probably wouldn't think that Dave Blunts was all that smart. I mean, after all, he's a heavily overweight, drug-addicted man who often says slurs in his music and wears the same tracksuit every day. I mean, what about that screams intelligent to you? But let me tell you, looks can be deceiving. I mean, everybody thought that Lil Pump was stupid, everybody thought that 6ix9ine was stupid, everybody thought that Famous Dex, okay, Famous Dex actually is kind of stupid, but when it comes to Lil Pump and 6ix9ine, they were definitely playing more of a character to get people invested in them, and I think Dave Blunts is doing that to a certain degree as well. If you think Dave Blunts isn't aware about what people are saying about him online, then you're definitely out of the loop. He's fully aware about what his reputation is, he knows what people want to see from him, and he's fully playing into it. And by having a sense of humor about his own condition, I really think it helps to draw more people in, because after all, a lot of rappers end up in the same trap where they get too big of an ego after they blow up with a couple songs, people start making fun of them and they absolutely can't handle it, leading them to crash out and eventually fade away. But if you can run with all the shit that people throw at you online, you can survive almost everything. I mean, look at somebody like Andrew Tate. Basically everybody is shitting on him non-stop, but he's able to survive everything because he takes the hate head on. I mean, look at people like him, Jake Paul, Adam22. Everybody likes to make fun of these people non-stop, but you're still talking about them, and when you're being talked about online, it's always a good thing. And Dave Blunts is definitely being talked about almost more than any other rapper on the internet right now. I mean, earlier this year, the motherfucker changed his jumpsuit to another jumpsuit and everybody was talking about it. That's insane. I mean, think about how crazy that is. The motherfucker changed his clothes and everybody was talking about it. Something that you do every single day and never think about, but when he does it, everybody has something to say. And not only that, but he actually actually did it a second time when he got on stage with no shirt on, said that he was going to throw out his jumpsuit and try to get healthier. Once again, everybody was talking about him taking his shirt off, something that you do every single day. And that's not even the only time that Dave Bluntz went viral for a single performance, because he actually ended up recently performing in Chicago, and apparently he got so tired that he had to sit down on a couch, and he even needed a breathing tank. I mean, you guys call it a breathing tank, I call it built-in whippets. Let's go, my boy, you definitely getting on that new sauce. Whippets are the way of the future, 2025. But no, to be serious for a minute, I think this was once again another publicity stunt. I'm not gonna lie to you, I really don't think that he needed that breathing tank. I mean, I know that he's a big guy, it probably is hard for him to jump up and down on stage, but if you're sitting in a chair, there's no way that you're that unhealthy that you need a breathing tank. I think he did it only because it would get him attention, and it definitely did, with all the vlogs sharing it around, and on top of that, even motherfucking Snoop Dogg ended up reacting to it, with the two of them going back and forth. So this all took place after another Dave Bluntz performance. Now, I believe this was actually the first time he ever performed live, and of course he was sitting down at this one, and then later on he added the oxygen tank, once again making me believe that he's doing it all for publicity and he's adding on more and more to make it more crazy. But anyways, Snoop Dogg ended up throwing in his 2 cents on the situation by saying, well, put down the chicken wings and the Tata chips, nephew, and the chair gonna break soon, get to the end of the cup. And then Dave Bluntz ended up responding to that by saying, damn, Unc. Now at first it seemed like he wasn't really gonna say a whole lot about Snoop Dogg. I mean, after all, he probably looks up to him, he's an OG rapper in the game and basically everybody fucks with him. But then when he ended up performing at Juice WRLD Day, which is the time that he had the oxygen tank, he ended up saying fuck Snoop Dogg in this clip right here.
Hey, Chicago, do y'all have a problem with me sitting down on this stage? Yeah. Exactly. Get the fuck off my dick, Snoop Dogg.
And after that, it wasn't long before Snoop Dogg ended up responding in his own video, which you can see right here.
That was funny. Go ahead, little homie. I mean, big homie. Do your thing, cuz. I ain't fucking with you. Have your fun.
And honestly, I think it's kind of crazy that Dave Bluntz actually got Snoop Dogg to back down, because oftentimes he never does. I mean, at this point, Snoop Dogg's pretty well known for shitting on new up-and-coming rappers. He ended up taking a shot at Lil Xan, the Island Boys, now Dave Bluntz. Now, I'm not saying those are the most popular or talented people in the world, but Snoop Dogg definitely likes to have his opinion on new talent, and oftentimes his OG fan base will go after them and start shitting on them. But when it comes to Dave Bluntz, he honestly responded to this perfectly, because most rappers in his situation probably would have got super offended, not wanted to talk about it or back down because they were afraid of Snoop Dogg and his audience. But Dave Bluntz didn't take it too seriously, he didn't take it to heart, and he didn't let it hurt his ego. Instead, he decided to use it for more publicity, and it definitely worked out because more people are talking about Dave Bluntz now than they ever were before. I mean, I can't stress enough that he has been relevant almost through the entire year of 2024, but before he dropped his studio album, it was basically only in certain niches in the underground, but at this point, he's almost becoming mainstream. With one of the tracks off his album, Well Dude Here's My Thing, called The Cup, going on to get tons of streams on Spotify, before then getting a music video almost 6 months after the initial song came out, which once again went on to blow up, with the song itself having over 6 million streams on Spotify alone, as well as the music video having 2.5 million, which is pretty crazy considering how long after it came out after the initial single dropped. And if you think that was the end of the controversy, we still have to go back to that same Juice WRLD Day show, because he ended up bringing a girl on stage with him who was supposedly his girlfriend, leading a lot of people to talk about the two of them being in a relationship. Because after all, Dave is fat, and we already know that fat people can't have girlfriends, so how is it possible that the two of them ended up getting together? Is she trying to use him for his money? Maybe she's trying to get that lean plug? What's the reason? And you know what? It turns out that fans were actually right, because somebody ended up hitting her up on Instagram and asking her what she saw in Dave Bluntz, and she ended up saying, please, I never actually wanted to date him, I only wanted to get up on stage with him. Which once again only got Dave more clout online, with a lot of people feeling bad for him, with a lot of people clowning on him. But once again, I don't even really feel like this is fully true. I mean, after all, if she wanted to get up on stage with him to get clout, why would she ever reveal it to a random fan online? I mean, you're kind of fucking up the bag by revealing your plan to the entire internet, right? Well, that's because it's probably once again another publicity stunt. She probably saw the random fan and decided to respond saying that, knowing that they would share it online and it would once again help out Dave in his career. Am I saying the two of them are in love? No, I don't really know what's going on in his interpersonal relationship, but it's totally possible that his label might have even hired this girl to pull this stunt to get him more attention online, because it's once again working. And the craziest part about all of this is it all came from one single show. I mean, plenty of artists have million-dollar marketing teams behind them trying to push them every day of the week with Instagram posts, music videos, and plenty more, and this fat guy sat on a couch with an air tank and basically took over the entire internet. I mean, it's getting to the point now that he might be an even more talented marketing genius than 6ix9ine himself. I mean, 6ix9ine basically had to cover his entire body in tattoos, dye his hair, and beef with everybody in the industry for attention. Dave Blunt simply has to drink lean out of a cup, be fat, and sit on a couch to get everybody to talk about him. But now Dave is taking it to the next level because apparently he's gotten to the point that he's so overweight that he had to stay in the hospital, with him posting up a picture of him eating birthday cake to celebrate his music video hitting 1 million views. And now people are really starting to worry about him. I mean, before it was definitely concerning with him being on stage, but now he's in a hospital bed. I mean, before 2025 is even over, he might be passed away. But once again, I think this is all planned. I mean, I'm not saying that he broke into the hospital to get a marketing picture or anything like that. He probably is actually sick with the flu, and being overweight the way that he is, he probably does have to have a hospital stay because of that. But at the same time, he definitely knows what he's doing. He's like, you know what? I'm a fat guy. I'm in the hospital now. I better take a picture so people can talk about it a little bit more. And it's working. Once again, it's working. However, I do gotta ask you, Dave, it's a little bit sketchy right here. How is it possible that you got the flu when you can't put down the cup and you're sipping on promethazine every day of the week? I mean, after all, that's cough syrup. So you shouldn't be getting a cough. You shouldn't be getting sick. You should be the healthiest man on the planet. And yeah, guys, I know I don't really have anything to back it up, but I really don't think that Dave Blunt is sipping lean the way that he says in his music. I think it's all a marketing plan once again, which I know I keep saying over and over and over again in the video. But to me, the guy comes off as very level-headed and well put together. He's not slurring his words. He's not forgetting the lyrics to his own songs. I mean, if you guys remember what Fat Nick was like back in the day when he was sipping lean on a daily basis, the guy could barely talk. Whereas Dave Blunt definitely seems like he's a lot more in his right mind. I think he likes to add the lean on because it makes it seem even more dangerous that he's so overweight, whereas if he didn't have that aspect of it, people would probably be like, you know what, he's fat, but he doesn't really seem like he's in danger of dying any single day. But whether he's addicted to lean or not, he definitely is in the hospital right now, with somebody actually taking a video of him sleeping, which was suspiciously well angled and seemed like it might have been pre-planned, but who knows. With Dave immediately calling out the guy for being a 40-year-old man that should be raising his kids instead of paying so much attention to him, although I'm not really sure how Dave has so much information on a random guy who supposedly filmed him out of nowhere. But whether it's real or not, they're talking about it on No Jumper. It's getting posted on Academics. He is once again gaining himself a lot of attention online, and I'm sure it won't be too long before he drops another single with a music video that's probably going to get over 1 million views. And if Dave keeps going in this direction, he's definitely going to become one of the biggest rappers in the game, no pun intended. Even though people don't seem to like him and a lot of people think that he's building his entire career off of antics, I don't think anybody can stop him from getting attention at this point. And if Dave somehow puts down the cup and actually gets into the gym and pulls a Nikocado avocado, losing all the weight, he's definitely going to get a massive explosion in fame, although I think he probably should play it out a little bit longer with the whole Fat Man act. I mean, he still hasn't pushed that gimmick to its absolute edge. I think there's a whole lot more he could do with it before he ends up losing weight. I would consider losing weight as a Hail Mary when his career is starting to fall off. If he really gets into the gym and loses a bunch of weight all at once, then everybody's going to pay attention to him again. But if he pulls that move too early, people might lose interest. But either way he plays it, he's definitely going to stay relevant for at least another 6 months, and he probably will get another album cycle out of this before he has to lose the weight. However, even with all this good publicity, unfortunately there is a little bit of bad publicity that's come along with it, because apparently a lot of people consider Dave Blunt as a ripoff to another rapper from the 90s going by the name of Big Mo. And when you look at the two of them side by side, you can definitely get the reference. I mean, Big Mo was also another pretty fat rapper who liked to drink lean and unfortunately ended up passing away from it. However, to be fair to Dave Blunt, this guy did pass away all the way back in 2007 when Dave was only 6 years old, so it's totally possible that he never heard of him before. I personally had never heard of Big Mo before, but I'm not really the most cultured hip-hop head in the entire world, so that doesn't mean a whole lot. I mean, when you really think about it, is being fat and addicted to lean really that unique of a gimmick? I think most people who drink lean on a daily basis end up putting on quite a bit of weight, and it really doesn't seem that unique to me, but once again, like I said, it's not really for me to say, so I'll let you guys decide what you think about that in the comments below. Dave did end up responding to all of this by saying he didn't even know who Big Mo was in the first place, which I honestly believe, but a lot of people think he's capping to try to save face. But either way, I don't think that's going to affect his career too much, and I don't think that's going to stop him from getting bigger and bigger, because like I said, at this point, Dave Blunt can't be stopped, and I really think he's going to be one of the biggest rappers of 2025. At least I hope so, because honestly, he's a lot more entertaining than half of the people out right now. I mean, after all, I think a lot of people are getting tired of seeing a bunch of skinny young white boys blow up over and over again. I think that gimmick has been pushed to its absolute limit, so having the exact opposite with a big fat black guy as the biggest rapper in the underground underground is definitely a welcome change of pace, at least to me. But with all that said, what do you think? Do you think that Dave Blunts is faking his health issues to try to get more attention online, or do you think that it's actually genuine and we might see him pass away in the next couple months? And while you're down there, make sure to leave a knife emoji, shout out to Knife Gang, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and most of all, never get your knickers in a twist, alright? Shout out to everybody, peace out, see you in the next one, bye bye.
I can't put down the cup. I can't put down the cup. Sipping on promethazine. With lean, I fell in love. I can't put down the cup. I can't put down the cup.